Hello everybody, welcome. Okay, that was one of the weirder things I've ever seen. A 50-year-old man with a toy gun made out of a stick wrapped with blue tape. Welcome to San Francisco in 2024. The thing I'm thinking about right now, this is going to be a short video and there's going to be a little background noise because I'm not in the quiet spot that I usually am when I'm making my recordings. The thing I'm thinking about is just walking down a stairwell at the east end of Stowe Lake and came across some people who I suspect were tourists based on their spoken language. Of course, labeling can be very tricky because what's the most important feature of the person that I encounter? Is it their gender? Is it the color of their skin? Is it their height? Is it their facial expression? Is it their body shape? Is it their weight? Is it their gait, how they walk? Is it the sort of overall picture they present? Is it their clothing? Right? How will I determine
I hear music. Oh wait, no.
what value system, what evaluative system am I using to understand how to relate with something that for most of human history was very rarely related with? What would that be? The concept of a stranger, someone we don't know yet. Someone we haven't met, may not meet, and probably won't have any meaningful interactions with, though we may pass by each other and we may exchange, for example, a glance. And this is actually why I'm making the video that I'm making right now, or perhaps more accurately, the recording. So, that Hillman guy that I like to talk about talks about this thing called OPES, which I suspect is a fragment. Omicron, Pi, Sigma, be my guess, if I just had to guess. Don't speak Greek, but it's not too hard to figure out OPES, I don't think. So, yeah, he's talking about the gaze and the power of the gaze and the penetrative or caressing power of the gaze. And as I was walking down these stairs and I saw these people who I suspect are tourists, there was a young couple, male and female, and two older women. And I managed to get a glimpse of one of the older women's eyes, and the light that was in her eyes was staggering. Now, here's the thing that I want you to think very carefully about right now. I want you to think about the light in the eyes of human beings. Now, each of the different organisms have, I should say, different eyes. Some of them, the mammals, have particular kinds of eyes. The reptiles and amphibians have different kinds of eyes. The birds and so forth. They all have different kinds of eyes. You can see, which I think are kind of ridiculous, posters that show you 50 different kinds of organismal eyes. For example, I want you to think just about the human ones for now, even though they're all really important and interesting. And I want you to think about the difference between what you see in the human eyes when someone is alive and when they are not. If you have ever seen the eyes of someone who is not alive, you will notice that physically they look the same. Energetically, they are not the same at all. There is a characteristic, a feature that is completely missing from the eyes of a dead person. A kind of a living light. Now, Would a camera capture this difference? I don't know. My mind is not a camera. My eyes are not cameras, and cameras are not eyes. What I'm trying to get at, however, is that the human eye is not merely an absolutely profound and astonishing instance of the nature of being, origin, universe, galaxy, solar system, world, sun, moon, animal, mammal, human, spirit, angel, all these things. Right? It's not merely that. In a post many years ago, I wrote that all of the beauty that we experience visually, those of us who are sighted, and in dreaming, all of the beauty that we experience in our relationship with the forms in nature, the organisms, the plants, the minerals, the situations, everything, all of the things that we see. I'm looking right now at a branch covered with seeding, little seeding hyperstructures and dried out ones and green ones, and it's astonishing. They're covered in moisture. It's dark because it's cloudy. There's all kinds of other things, soil, my feet, my body, my clothing. All of these things that we see, all of the astonishing beauty of forms in matter are intimations of the intelligences in time. Not merely the character of time, the intelligences in time. And when you look at the human eye and you see that incredible white, vitreous outer structure, interrupted by the astonishing beauty of the iris, further interrupted in its third dimension, or first if you prefer, by the pupil. What you have, in a sense, in a reliable sense, is you have a vision of eternity, origin, meaning, identity, character, nature, potential, purpose, all of these principles implemented in a single organ. It's very similar to the hand. The hand is similar. One could argue that all the organs are similar. However, what would we know about organs without the eye? If there is a fundamental basis for the concept of knowledge, the eye is that basis. Primordially, we have things like tactility, the tactile senses, and also smell, which is effectively taste, the progenitor of tasting, acknowledging that the gut was the first organ of sensing, of complex environmental sensing. However, I guess we'd have to acknowledge the membrane, the enclosing membrane, the encompassing membrane, as primordially sensitive, and the gut as a sort of inside-out implementation of that membrane. But what I want you to understand and to consider, to reflect upon, to stand in awe and wonder of, is your eye. On any day where your eyes are working, and you have human eyes, and you can look into the eyes of other human beings and other beings and see effectively their soul there, you are blessed beyond all imagining. The simple existence of vision, of your eyes and their function, not their function, their purposive natures, the implementation of those natures, is staggeringly profound and beautiful, awe-inspiring, and the origin of the possibilities of knowledge to see. Now, of course, there are at least, and I think there are many, but there are at least two different kinds of seeing, and many different what? Many variables affect how we see. But the two primary distinctions, I might suggest, are the kind of seeing that happens with your eyes while you're awake, and the kind of seeing that happens with your X while you are asleep, or while you are out of your body, or while you are in an astral situation, quote unquote, etc., etc., etc. What are you seeing with when you have the 360-degree vision of the Guru, the enlightened one? What is doing the seeing? It is not your eyes. Nor is it merely your brain, right? It's not merely your physical organs. So there's all kinds of stuff that happens that isn't simply the mechanical, physical situation that science teaches us to acknowledge as having precedence over all things. Not true. It doesn't. There's a continuum of meaningful, primitive, or primordial aspects of being. There's a continuum, and the physical slice of that continuum is relatively small. It is not the entire continuum. It will never be the entire continuum. This is one of the lies of physicalist, materialist, reductionist scientism, which is a religion, not science. Consider and wonder at the nature of your eyes. Look at them in the mirror. Take a moment. Go find a mirror. Gaze into your own eyes. Gaze into the eyes of a beloved being or other human. Remember the eyes of those you have loved and have passed away. Imagine looking into those eyes again. To imagine is, in a sense, to see, but not with your physical eyes, with the eyes of your mind. Remember just how profound, astonishing, miraculous, and impossible your human eyes are. That void at their center is the very possibility of seeing, right? That strange absence that expands and contracts in relation to ambient illumination. The whole concept of illumination itself doesn't exist without our eyes. So many of our terms for knowledge and understanding and awareness and consciousness have to do directly with the function, the behavior, the participation in existence of our eyes. Treasure them, adore them, remember just how beautiful and astonishing and truly magical, beyond all description, beyond all explanation, beyond all language, they are. Just a moment to remember something absolutely exquisite about our everyday experience. For those of us who still can see and thus adore the living light of being. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to learning together and remembering together and discovering together again very soon. Bye-bye for now.